We in we're in Second Ezra's, the second chapter, remembering, because we're looking at, a lot of times, brothers think that we're the only 1/3 got to come out of those that's living now. But listen at this. It says, Second Ezra 2:31. Remember thy children that sleep, for I will bring them out of the sides of the earth and show mercy unto them, for I am merciful, said the Most High Almighty. Right? So, we also can look at 1 Thessalonians 4:16. 1 Thessalonians 4:16. It says, for the Most High, Yahushua himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead that have died by Hashem, in the name of the Lord and Savior, shall rise first, just like we just read in Israel. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds. That's part of 1/3 coming with him. And we that remain, that are alive, should be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet Mashiach Yahushua in the air through the power of the Most High, and so shall we ever be with the Most High, Mashiach Yahushua. Wherefore comfort one another with these words, right? So go to Daniel, the prophet Daniel, the 12th chapter, and verse 2. It says, Daniel 12:2, it says, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Read again. And many of them that sleeps in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt, as it is written. Meaning that's their judgment that he's going to bring upon them. But some going to come to everlasting life, and some going to come to shame and contempt. They'll be thrown in the lake of fire. Look at St. John 5:28. Marvel not at this, that he said in verse 26, for as the Father has life in himself, so hath he given to the Son and have life in himself, and have given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. Mashiach Yahushua. Most High given him authority to make the judgment for him. Marvel not at this, he said, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, everlasting life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation, be thrown in the lake of fire, as it is written. This is serious. That's why going back to Daniel 12:2. Let's read verse 1. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael, this is Michael the archangel of war, stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. That's why you hear me calling on him. The Most High to send him. And there shall be a time of trouble, Jacob's trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, while my Shai told you in Matthew 24:22 again. And except those days should be shortened, time we in now, there should no flesh be saved. They're trying to kill off everybody. But for the elect's sake, 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel, those days shall be shortened. You see, we sitting to fight the battle. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael, the archangel of war, stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, for the 12 tribes of Israel, the archangel of war, Michael. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time that people shall be delivered. It says here, delivered, gonna be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. Every one that shall be found written in the book. Everyone that is found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust, that have died of the earth, shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. That's what he's saying. That's why we got a choice to choose where we want to be. That's what this is all about. Because you can't wait till the last minute and say, oh, well, I wish I would have, should have, could have. No, you got an opportunity now. Look. Isaiah 66. Let's go to the kingdom. Verse 22. Say, for as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, said the Most High, so shall your seed and your name remain. This new heavens and new earth. Kingdom, y'all. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon, we're going to do in the new moon, from one new moon to another, that's the first day of the month, one new month to the next month, that we have a feast, and from one Sabbath to another, Sabbath days, every 7 days, and every Sabbath that we have, which is the Holy Convocation, shall all flesh come to worship before me, said the Most High, and they shall go forth. Look, we're gonna be having a good time. These new moons and the Sabbaths and the holy days is great times. And we're going to look at this. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have trespassed against me. The carcasses, dead bodies of the men that have trespassed, broke the Most High's laws against the Most High. For their worms shall not die. I mean, it's going to live forever and be eating them up forever. Neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring of all flesh. You see that? You'll be hating it, but you got to deal with it. It's going to keep you in order. Like if they did that right now, I bet more people would be less criminal acts going on. If they follow the laws of the Most High. We're going back to the laws of the Most High. You better understand. Mashiach Shai let you know without a shadow of a doubt. When he come back, what you think he's going to be judging by? Look, let's get some judgment. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, 5th chapter. You already know the end result. Look at Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Let's start at verse. Let's go up. Let's get an example. So let's start at verse 12. It says, or like as when an arrow is shot at a mark. You shoot an arrow at a mark, right? It parted the air. So the air is parted as that arrow is going through the air, which immediately comes together again, come back together, the air. So that a man cannot know where it went through. You don't know where that arrow went through. Give me an example of an arrow being shot, and you can't tell the air that the arrow went through, because it come back together. Even so, we in like manner, as soon as we were born, began to draw to our end. Hear that? As soon as we were born, began to draw to our end, and had no sign or virtue to show, but were consumed in our own wickedness. Hear that? No sign or virtue to show, but were consumed in our own wickedness. And some people still consume their own wickedness. They don't want to learn. They don't want to know what it is that's right according to the Most High. They're consumed in their own wickedness and expect you to accept their own wickedness. For the hope of the unrighteous is like dust that is blown away with the wind. You know, the hope of the unrighteous is as dust that bloweth away with the wind. Wow. Like a thin froth that is driven away with the storm. Like as the smoke which is dispersed here and there with a tempest, and passes away as the remembrance of a guest that tarrieth but a day. They're there for a day, poof, they gone. Back to normal. Whatever you're doing. Smoke goes up, poof, it's gone. But the righteous live forevermore. You hear that? The righteous live forevermore. Their reward also is with the Most High. And the care of them is with the Most High. You hear that? He say he's going to protect you. Therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom that we just read about. A glorious kingdom. Man. And a beautiful crown from the Most High's hand. A beautiful crown. Here, put this on their head. A beautiful crown. That's power from authority, y'all. From the Most High's hand. For with his right hand, which is my shy, shall he cover them. And with his arm shall he protect them. That's what we want. This is what this is all about. For with his right hand shall he cover them. And with his arm shall he protect them. He shall take to him his jealousy for complete armor, complete protection, and make the creature his weapon for the revenge of his enemies. Hear that? He's going to make the creature his weapon for the revenge of his enemies. Let's look at that. He's going to make the creature his weapon for the revenge of his enemies. Let's look at his creature for the revenge of his enemies, right? Let's look at something right here in Jeremiah 51 and 20. Look what he says. He said, "Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider, and with thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid." Understand, overstand this. "And with thee I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd," that's the preachers, "and his flock, and those that's follow them. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman," that's our farmers, "and his yoke of iron. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion, in your sight, said the Most High." See? Right here in America. All the evil that they have done in destroying the 12 tribes of Israel in our sight. In my sight, said the Most High. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, O destroying kingdom, said the Most High, which destroyeth all the earth. Who did that? Destroyeth all the earth. And I will stretch out mine hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks. They're going to be hiding the rocks, right? He said, going to roll them down from the rocks. And will make thee a burnt mountain. Ain't nothing going to be saved here. Going back to Wisdom of Solomon 5. It said, verse 17. He said, he shall take to him his jealousy for complete armor, and make the creature his weapon for the revenge of his enemies. Hear that? He's going to make the creature let me see, his weapon for the revenge of his enemies, as is written, right? Another one. Let's go to Ezekiel 25 and 12. Thus said the Most High Power of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended. So we offended the Most High, but they have greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them. Hear that? Revenge himself upon us. That's why you look at Ezekiel 35 and 5. Speaking of Edom, it says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. When? In the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. You better understand. That's why it's quoted. Why he said the devil know he got a short time coming down with much wrath, coming down upon those that keep the commandments of the Most High and had a testimony of Mashiach Yahushua. It ain't changing. Therefore, as I live, said the Most High Power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Going back to Ezekiel 25 and 12. Thus said the Most High Power, because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Obadiah 10. Obadiah 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Okay? Ezekiel 25 and 12. But thus said the Most High Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus said the Most High Power, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it. And I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. That's all the capital cities of Edom. This is what he said. Verse 14. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury. And they shall know my vengeance, said the Most High Power. Going back to Wisdom of Solomon 5. We just going to prophecies. That's all. Wisdom of Solomon 5. It says, verse 17, he shall take to him his jealousy for complete armor, complete protection, and make the creature his weapon for the revenge of his enemies. We just seen what he's going to do with us. Some of what he's going to do with us. He shall put on righteousness, which is keeping of the Most High's laws, as a breastplate, and true judgment instead of an helmet. He shall take holiness for an invisible shield, His severe wrath shall be sharpened for a sword, and the world shall fight with him against the unwise. Hear that? The whole world gonna fight against him, against the unwise. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds. Remember, okay. Remember, let's see. Mashiach Shai, he said, right, thunderbirds gonna come from the clouds, right? Look. How you coming? Isaiah 31:5. It says, as birds flying, so will Mashiach Yahushua, power of hosts, defend Jerusalem, defend Israelites. Defending also, he will deliver it. He's going to deliver us. And passing over, he will preserve it. As birds flying, right? It says, because, look, Revelation 1:7. It says, then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad and from the clouds, right? So, Revelation 1:7 says, behold, he cometh with clouds. See, he cometh with clouds. And every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. So now, what's these clouds? What's these clouds? Psalms 104:3. Psalms 104:3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots. So the clouds represent a vehicle. The clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, right? So now we know that the clouds are the chariots. So what are the chariots? Psalms 68:17. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. So he coming as birds fly. You know, birds fly in a V formation. So he coming as birds flying. So these chariots, these clouds, he coming to clouds, right? The clouds are the chariots of the Most High, and the chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Most High, while Mashiach is among them as in Sinai in the holy place, right? So how many coming with? Revelation 9:16. Revelation 9:16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. 200,000. Y'all ready for that? 200 million angels. And I heard the number of them. 200 million angels. He said, I heard the number of them. So he coming as birds flying in a V formation, and he's coming with 200 million angels. The chariots of the Most High. The clouds represent what? The chariots. I hope you see this. If not, go back over it and you'll see, as you go through the precepts, you'll see it will be clear to you. So going back to Wisdom of Solomon 5:21. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, that's from the chariots, from the angels, as from a well-drawn bow, looks in a bow and arrow, these missiles, shall they fly to the mark. They're going to fly to the mark. And hailstones full of wrath shall be cast as out of a stone bow. So hailstones full of wrath will be cast like it's cast out of a stone bow. And the water of the sea shall rage against them. He gonna raise the sea up against them. They gotta fight these missiles that's coming from the clouds. That's all we can look at them as. Right now we don't know, but we know that he said hailstones full of wrath. Ain't no telling what that's gonna be like. You know, ice coming from the sky full of wrath, fire in the ice or whatever. You know, it could come with fire, so it's gonna be fire. You know that. It say, and the water of the sea shall rage against them. He gonna raise up the water in the sea against them. And the flood shall cruelly drown them. So when he raised up the water of the sea, He said the flood's going to cruelly drown them. But you know that he's not going to kill everybody by water, by the flood anymore. That's why he put the rainbow in the sky to remind himself that he's not going to do it anymore. Yeah. A mighty wind shall stand up against them. This is what they got to fight. You look at that, anti-matter guns and so forth. What you got to fight against? The elements, this disasters that he's talking about here. The sea raising up. What you got to fight against it? You're going to have the sand raise up? Most likely could only do that. Say the sand raised up to stop the sea. How you going to stop the sea from doing what he said do? He said, and the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the flood shall cruelly drown them. Yeah, a mighty wind, that's like a tornado or hurricane, shall stand up against them, and like a storm shall blow them away. Thus iniquity shall lay waste the whole earth, and ill dealings shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty. Hear that? That's what he's going to do. When you evil, you draw evil to you. You want to be evil? Okay. We're going to see what your evil going to bring to you. It's all written here. The most I let you know. Without a shadow of a doubt. You say going to raise up the sea and the flood's going to cruelly drown you. Man, they say drowning is something else to die from. And he killed everybody but 8 people. Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth and their wives. That's why this is most important for us to really look at what we need to do, first and foremost, in realizing how we offended the Most High and how we offend the Most High. How we did offend him and how we offended them now. That's my thoughts. That's what I look for. And solutions that he can show his love toward us, his mercy and grace continue, because it ain't going to be continuing with everyone. Everybody going to continue in his mercy and grace. Some people it's already fled from them because they are evil in their spirit. And when you don't like Israel, you're not going to be blessed. But when you just come back to his law, statutes, commandments, man, so much that's written here that's so beautiful, and you see the end result. You hear the end result. Now either you're gonna be there or you're not gonna be there. You're gonna be a part of it, you're not gonna be a part of it. You want your name to be written in the book. That's what this is all about. Look at Wisdom of Solomon 3:1. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them. So you wonder about people that's afraid of everything, but they ain't afraid of the Most High. They ain't afraid of the Most High, his word. They're afraid of everything, how somebody looking at them, like say, they fear the eyes of men, but not the eyes of the Most High. That's 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and the secret parts. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them. Just where you want to be. But if you're not of the righteous, torment is coming to you. Torment is coming to you. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die. In the sight of the unwise, those that don't have the knowledge and understanding of the Most High, word and truth, they seem to die. And their departure is taken for misery. And they're going from us to be utter destruction. But they are in peace. You hear that? Keep this in mind, because we lost a lot of our loved ones, especially during this planned pandemic, or pandemic, I might say, allegedly. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, because it really is a plot to really put a lot of people to death. You know, like my secretary said, if he ain't make the time short, would nobody be saved? No flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, he gonna make the time short. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die. And those that are unwise are those that are not understanding the word of the Most High, period. And their departure is taken for misery. Listen, for they're going from us to be utter destruction. But they are at peace. They are in peace. But though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. Those who Most High love, He chastened us. But though we were a little chastised, so we're going to be greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for Himself, as gold in the furnace. Had He tried them and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. Hear that? In the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their power shall reign forever. They that put their trust in Him shall understand the truth. That's what we went over earlier concerning the beginning of this lesson pertaining to who grace and mercy is for. You put your faith and trust in the Most High, you're going to understand His laws, statutes, and commandments. And such as be faithful in love, love is keeping of the Most High's laws and commandments, shall abide with Him. So all you that's not keeping His laws, statutes, and commandments, you're not abiding with Him. You have created your own power. It's not the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For grace and mercy is to His saints, and He have cared for His elect. That's what my secretary said. He make the time short for His elect's sake, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, 1/3, mind you. But no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, gonna make the time short. Understand, overstand this. So look at Wisdom of Solomon 16 and verse 16. Wisdom of Solomon 16 and 16. For the unrighteous that denied to know Thee was scourged by the strength of Thine arm. Let me read it again. Because the only way you don't know Him is you don't know His moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws. You don't know nothing about that. First and foremost, that He wrote with His finger, the work of His hand, you become unrighteous. Because you're righteous, then you're going to keep His laws, statutes, commandments. For the unrighteous, they say ungodly. I don't like that word God, because that's dog spelled backwards. That's a European invention. Look it up for yourself. We call them dog. They turned it around and made it God. So you call it on them when you saying God. They set themselves in the Bible as being God. So you can't deny it. They created the word. We call them dog. They took dog and spelled it backwards, came up with God, and you call it on them when you're saying God. For the unrighteous that denied to know Thee were scourged by the strength of Thine arm with strange rains. Hear that? Strange rains, hails, and showers were they persecuted. How you gonna fight this? How you gonna fight strange rains, hails, and showers were they persecuted, that they could not avoid, and through fire were they consumed? Then you come to fight, it'd be strange rains, hails. We just read about the end times when He coming in the clouds, with the destruction coming from the clouds. Strange rains, you gotta deal with this too. Strange rains, hails, and showers were they persecuted, that they could not avoid, and through fire were they consumed. Look, for which is most to be wondered at. The fire had more force in the water. Listen, the fire had more force in the water. So the Most High able to bring fire in water that quenches all things. Water quenches fire. For the world fighteth for the righteous. But the Most High was able to put fire in the water that could not quench the fire. In the water. For the world fighteth for the righteous. For sometime the flame was mitigated that it might not burn up the beasts that were sent against the unrighteous, but themselves might see and perceive that they were persecuted with the judgment of the Most High. They're going to see that? And at another time, it burned even in the midst of water above the power of fire, that it might destroy the fruits of an unjust land. You got fire that might destroy the fruits. Fire in the midst of water. Above the power of fire, that it might destroy the fruits of an unjust land. Instead whereof thou feedest thine own people with angels' food, and didst send them from the heaven bread prepared without their labor. That's manna that came down from the sky. Able to content every man's delight and agreeing to every taste. See that? You wanted to taste like something? I have a taste for some quail. It tasted like quail. I have a taste for some spinach. It tastes like spinach. Whatever the mind thought and wanted to taste like, the Most High allowed it to taste like that. And we still murmured and complained and argued with Moses and Aaron, as always. But didn't want to talk to the Most High when he was on the Mount Sinai, thundering and earthquaking and the volcano erupting and so forth. They ain't want to talk to Most High then. When we talk to you, Moses, we talk to Most High, we're going to die. This is our people. For thy sustenance declared thy sweetness unto thy children, as serving to the appetite of the eater, tempted itself to every man's liking. Man. Think about that, man. And we still complain and complain and complain and complain. Till the Most High said, okay, I'm killing every last one of y'all. We got to go through this now. That's why we have examples to go by. He said, I'm killing every last one of y'all but Caleb and Joshua. 2 adults. You kill everybody, every adult, but Caleb and Joshua. And allow the children that we had in 40 years to run around the wilderness, make it to the promised land. Look, this is so, man. Let me, what time is it? Let me conclude here. Let's go to, Job 5 and 19. Job 5 and 19. That's what we want to be, y'all. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. You know, it's Jacob's trouble. I'm not sure what I say going to be like it's never been in the world, ever, or ever will be. For the elect's sake, he going to make the time shorter, with no flesh be saved. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine, the food shortage, they're announcing the food shortage. You go in the stores, you see, I'm going into the store, I see a whole big aisle. I told you it was like a dance floor. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, larger. Empty space. Things that was in the store is not there anymore. In famine, that's food shortage, y'all. He shall redeem thee from death. Meaning people going to be dying from famine. But as elect, he's going to redeem from death. And in war, it's going to be wars everywhere. From the power of the sword. I tell you, they're going to be coming in the houses with the sword. Taking everything that you have. If you ain't in the spirit to roll with the Most High, and this happened with you, the Most High will. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Meaning they're going to be talking about you. Hid from the scourge of the tongue. Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. You that? You're going to be afraid of destruction when it cometh. But how you going to not be afraid of destruction when it cometh when you already fearing? The least little thing, you got fear. You scared of. Most I say don't give you the spirit of fear. So where that's coming from? The devil, Satan. He said, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. It's coming, y'all. Remember Esau said in Wisdom of Solomon 5:7, say that we wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Scriptures tell you they are like hell, wherever they go. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Let you know the beasts of the earth going to be eating people up. They're going to be hungry too. They're already coming to the city. I seen some footage where this one city, wild boars, when they had the pandemic, wild boars come in the wood and start coming to the city. They got a pandemic. They saw, you know, if it's going to be, I think they said 2 million of them. They were starting to kill them. They had to kill them. They ain't kill them all though. They still breeding, coming into the city, making it their home. Trash cans and wherever they can find to eat. They eat everything. Pigs eat everything. The things y'all put at y'all dinner table, they eat crap. The most part, I say you leave the truth, you're going to be like a nasty pig that eat all of his own boo-boo and urine and everything. That's how he look at you. But it's a whole city they was everywhere. They said they think it's going to end up being 2 million of them. That's a lot. They got rats taking over in New York. They're going to be hungry. What you think? He said, neither shall I be afraid of the beast of the earth. The beast going to be coming eating people. They're going to be hungry. They're going to come eating people. That's why this is worth it. He said, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. That's what we want to be at. That's why this is worth it. Verse 23, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. So the beasts of the field ain't going to be at peace with everybody. But he said going to be at peace with thee. If we in order with the Most High. It's simple. This is for everybody. This applies to anybody and everybody that hear the word of the Most High to change. You should want to know how to please him. I hear in Texas, they taking the Bible, all books of certain books out of the schools. So, they already took prayer out, these schools in America. Now they're taking the Bible out, the books that pertain to whatever it is that, you could look at to be able to become spiritual. So they worshiping the devil. They leaving the devil there. Everybody to worship. I seen a movie coming out, Pray to the Devil. Pray to the devil. They ain't going to say P-R-A-Y, but it's P-R-E-Y. But what's the difference? They say different things and make it different, spell it different ways. It's still the same thing. You'll see. It says, and thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace. Tabernacles our body shall be in peace. Most High will. And thou shalt visit thy habitation and shall not sin. See? That's the whole thing. So all you that follow these pork-chop-eating preachers that tell you ain't under the law, you sin. You don't know what the law is. You ain't taught the law, so therefore you sinners. And you have opportunity. Go on YouTube, go under going over the laws on Priest Thaahwam's, PRIEST-THAAHWAM, and type in going over the laws. When you go on my page, you go to the magnifying glass. It's right after about. Just go over to the right. Keep going over to the right. In the first line of all the different things that you see there, videos and so forth. And you see the magnifying glass and type in going over the laws. And start going over these laws. If you hear my voice, you don't have no excuse. You that hear my voice, you can go over these laws. Go over the laws. When you start going over them, you see it's going to be a lot of videos. But you can just go over the laws and learn the laws. Or read from Genesis to Deuteronomy on your own. No excuse, man. There's 4 chapters. Genesis. And a lot of them is not just like, Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy, it's straight up telling you. But a lot of, you can read it for yourself to learn the laws. You what it said, that's why it said, thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation and shall not sin. Shall not sin. Meaning you're not going to break the laws of the Most High. That's why it tells you, look, hold that, we'll come back there. I only got a few more. I just want to look at what it says in the kingdom in Isaiah 60:21. So we're not going to sin. It says, thy people also shall be all righteous. You see? These are the ones that's not sinning. That's looking at the laws and say, I can't do that because the law says I can't do it. Most High said we can't do it. I fear the Most High, so I'm not going to do it. Thy people also shall be all righteous, meaning we're not going to sin. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, not no man's planting, but the branch of Most High planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified, he said. You see. 2 Samuel 7:10. 2 Samuel 7:10. And as Samuel was offering up the burnt offering, well, that's 1 Samuel, Salaki. 2 Samuel 7:10. I'll get there. Here we go. 2 Samuel 7:10. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel. He said, moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, we the Israelites, and will plant them. That's the Most High. Don't let no man tell you, come here, come there, go, let's go there, do whatever. The Most High said, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and will plant them, that they may dwell in a place of their own, and move no more. It's the kingdom. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more as before time. Hallelujah. Going back to Job 5:24. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle, our body, shall be in peace. And thou shalt visit thy habitation and shall not sin. We're not going to break the laws of the Most High. So all you that don't know what sin is, I need to go there. 1 John 3:4. I called it out, but I didn't quote it. So here it is. In the New Testament. Since you say that we're not under the law, this is what sin is. 1 John 3 and 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresses also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. Who made the laws? The Most High wrote them with his finger. Work of the Most High. So it says we not going to sin. Verse 25. Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great. Thy seed shall be great. And thy offspring as the grass of the earth. Look. Go back to Isaiah 60, excuse me. Go back to Isaiah 60. So we all going to be righteous, right? He said our seed going to be great. And thine offspring, the children we're going to have, as the grass of the earth. That's a lot of children, right? Let me see if y'all women ready for this. It says in Isaiah 60 and 22, it says, a little one shall become 1,000. What did it say? Job 5:25, thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth, as the grass of the earth. What did it say? Isaiah 60 and 22, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. The Most High will hasten it in his time. What did he say? Job 5 and 25, thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth. That's a lot of babies we're going to have. Thou shalt come to thy grave in a full age, like a shock of corn cometh in its season. Lo, this, we have searched it. So it is. Hear it, and know thou it for thy good. Once again, lo, this that you've heard throughout this lesson, we have searched it. We researched it to the utmost. So it is. Most High said it. It's not going to come back void. Hear it, and know thou it for thy good. Okay? And with that, I hope that was edifying. I hope you'll continue to watch more episodes and more breakdowns. I'm sure the wisdom we got next. And with that, I'm out. Shalom.